Good morning. Our verses today contain one of the 7 signs in the book of John that demonstrates Jesus' power and purpose and authority here on earth. And these signs are not meant to simply be a display to view, but a sign pointing to Jesus as the Messiah, our Savior. And the other signs in the book include him turning water into wine, healing someone paralyzed, feeding the 5,000, walking on water, healing the blind, raising Lazarus from the dead. So a lot of amazing things. And we have read that while in Cana here, and this is where Jesus actually turned water into wine, a Roman official, probably a Gentile centurion, had heard of Jesus' presence there, and he had a great need himself. His son was about to die in Capernaum, which was miles and miles away. So he went and pleaded, he begged Jesus to heal his son. And imagine the desperation he felt and the sense of helplessness as a father who is powerless to save his own child. And it must have been a very difficult thing for him to be there, not with his family during this time. And coming to him and pleading with him, it shows that he had at least some faith in what Jesus could do. And Jesus responded. He said, "Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will not believe." And the word "you" here is plural, indicating that these words aren't just meant for the official, but for the Galilean people at large also. He said this because some might have been so enamored with Jesus's miraculous displays that they failed to actually place their faith in the one who has the power to perform them. In other words, some wanted a show and not a savior. Something interesting to see, but they missed the invitation to believe. And Jesus' words here cut right to the quick for some who are very far from belief. And that's still true today. There are some who only want to see a show and a sign, but not who the sign points to, which is Christ. And because then things get real and our hearts have idols that must fall and our self must die. And after he said this, the official asked Jesus to come see his son before he dies. And Jesus simply says, "Go, your son will live." And incredibly, the man trusted what he said and left. He took him at his word and believed it to be true. And what's interesting here is that in this case, there wasn't a huge display like some of Jesus' other signs, like the feeding of the 5,000. While the official was heading home, his servants met him on the way and said that his son was alive. And after considering the timing of Jesus' words and the beginning of the boy's recovery, they figure out that just at the instant Jesus said, "Your son will live," that's the moment that the fever left the child. What an incredible thing to consider. Jesus' words are effective, they're timely, and they apparently travel really well. As a result of this Roman official believing, his entire household came to believe as well. And this is an incredible sign. It points to Jesus as one with authority and power beyond sickness and even geography. He doesn't even need to be present to heal someone. This miraculous sign pulls back the curtain and reveals us more about what Jesus came to do, not just to perform miracles, but to save souls and draw all people to himself. Not just religious leaders, like back in John 3, or those who are looked down upon, like the Samaritan woman earlier in this chapter, but Gentiles too, like this official. Jesus truly came to save the world. And let's remember the words of Christ here and not be simply after a show, but after Jesus as our Savior. When we see miraculous things in the Bible or in life, let's allow those things to draw us closer to the miracle worker himself.